Greetings, wrestling fans! Patrick here, and today it is time to take another trip down to the past as we dive into another episode of Blast from the Past. Now, we're going to be taking a look at something that is really inclusive to the past. That is the 1998 Survivor Series. Yep, we are going really back this time. We're going to be going all the way back to the glory days, the good old days of WWE, of the WWF eras. Why am I deciding to go this far back with the Blast from the Past? Because I felt like it this time. I felt like this time, to really live up to the name Blast of the Past, I wanted to talk about something that is truly the definition of the past. Something that happened a few years ago. Yeah, it's considered the past, but it's still memorable. These are still things people remember. But we're here to talk about something that is really, really far back into the past, and that is 1998 Survivor Series, the Deadly Games! The WWF Championship was vacated, so let's talk about this entire pay-per-view, and I've got it up on Wikipedia, and there's a whole bunch of dark matches and heat matches, which I'm not gonna be talking about because they have they apply nothing storylines to Survivor Series. So let's go! Let's talk about 1998, shall we? So let's dive into this whole tournament, Deadly Games. This is a whole tournament for the WWE Championship. So there's a few things we need to mention here. Is that the first round, The Undertaker and Kane got a bye, a complete bye. So yeah, they did not compete in the first round at all. They both got byes. So let's go. The show began with Mankind as he was getting ready for his tournament match. His opponent was a mystery opponent. Vince McMahon welcomed his mystery opponent, and his mystery opponent was no more than Dwayne Gill, the man that portrays Mini Gilbert. That guy, Mini Goldberg. Mankind beats him in 30 seconds. Ooh, not a good start for something that's in 1998. But anyway, let's move on. We get Al Snow with Head. What does everybody want? What does everybody need? He takes on Jeff Jarrett. And he has Deborah by his side. Deborah tries to help Jeff Jarrett, but this ultimately fails, with Al Snow scoring the win over Jeff Jarrett. Then we get Stone Cold Steve Austin taking on the Big Boss Man in the first round, and Steve Austin wins via disqualification. And then after the match, Boss Man proceeds to beat the hell out of Austin. That was the whole point. The whole point was that Boss Man was never supposed to win. He was supposed to damage Austin bad enough so that he could not compete in the tournament anymore, or just have a major disadvantage heading into the quarterfinals. So Steve Austin would face the winner of Steve Regal, before known as William Regal, and X-Pac. However, Vince McMahon's plans blows up because Steve Regal and X-Pac ends via double countout, and therefore Stone Cold Steve Austin receives a bye into the quarterfinals. Vince tried to get this match to restart, but that ultimately didn't happen. So Austin got a bye into the second round, the quarterfinals. Then we get Ken Shamrock. He faces off against Goldust. Now, when it comes to UFC competitors, you guys know my personal opinions about them. Ronda Rousey, I think she sucks. She's dangerous. Shayna Baszler, bum. I don't really like her. And many other UFC competitors before then, Matt Riddle as well. But I genuinely believe, now I've seen Ken Shamrock's matches before. I personally like Ken Shamrock. Me personally, I actually like Ken Shamrock. I think he is the definition of a UFC fighter leaving the UFC world and becoming a wrestler. He left when he left UFC, he dumped the UFC shit and he focused on becoming a wrestler, and he was the guy that invented the tap outs to submissions. So Ken Shamrock, I believe, deserves more credit in WWE. I actually like Ken. I like Ken. I like Ken. I like him a lot. And it's a real shame that he's not really acknowledged by WWE anymore. And I believe Ken himself is even surprised that they don't acknowledge him much anymore. But yeah, I personally like Ken Shamrock. He's like the only UFC guy that came from the UFC to wrestling. He's probably the only guy I actually like who left the UFC and became a wrestler that I generally like. And it's a real shame that he's not acknowledged much by the company. So Ken Shamrock, he beats Goldust, and he moves on. So The Rock comes out. He was supposed to face Triple H, but he was injured, and it prevented him from competing. So The Rock ended up facing the Big Boss Man instead. The moment the match began, the match was over. The Rock beat Big Boss Man in 3 seconds. If social media was a thing back in 1998, the fans would be saying that the Big Boss Man was buried. Moving on. Undertaker versus Kane in the quarterfinals. The Undertaker would win. He defeats Kane. Mankind defeats Al Snow. Moves on to the semis. Then we get The Rock facing Ken Shamrock in a really good match. But Big Boss Man makes another mistake. Big Boss Man's not been a good night for the Boss Man. He tries to help Ken Shamrock by throwing his nightstick towards Ken Shamrock. But The Rock catches the nightstick and hits Ken with it. The Rock moves on to the semis. Then we get Sable beating Jacqueline for the Women's Championship. Nobody really cares because the women were not treated seriously back then. Shane McMahon was the ref. Then we get Mankind versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Mankind would win due to a screwy finish by the McMahons and Shane McMahon to make sure Austin didn't win. So Austin was screwed out of his chances of becoming the champion. And then we get The Rock facing The Undertaker. The Rock would win by disqualification. So the finals have been made set. I believe Kane interfered, because I did watch this in its entirety on the network when it was available. And then we get the New Age Outlaws defending the WWF Tag Team Championships, successfully defeating D'Lo Brown, Mark Henry, and the Headbangers. I do remember D'Lo Brown because he was one of my brother's favourite wrestlers. And then we get to our main event. The Rock versus Mankind for the WWE Championship. And throughout the entire show, Vince McMahon has been trying to make sure that The Rock and Stone Cold do not win, because that was the whole storyline heading into the pay-per-view. He didn't want Rock or Austin as his world champion. So by the end of this match, The Rock puts the sharpshooter on Mankind, and we relive the Montreal Screwjob. Instead of the Montreal Screwjob, we get the St. Louis, Missouri Screwjob, because they're in St. Louis. The Rock defeats Mankind via submission, and The Rock is crowned WWE Champion. So they pulled a double turn. They pulled a double turn with The Rock becoming champion. Rock becoming a heel, and Mankind becoming a babyface. A very, very creative ending to a really cool show, and a really cool concept. WWE did try this in 2015. I believe it was 2015. I think it was that. I think that was the year when they tried it, and it was all about Roman Reigns, and it wasn't all that great. I would like WWE to try this concept again one day, but they already did in 2015. But yes, The Rock turned heel, and Mankind became a babyface. Austin would come back, and he would lay waste to everybody. So that's your blast from the past, everybody. What did you guys think of me going all the way back to the 1990s? Be sure to let me know your opinions down below. What did you think of this show? Hit that like button and comment your thoughts and opinions down below. And what show do you want me to revisit next in Blast of the Past? And I will see you all next time.